Yo, what's going on, guys? So, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, bro. James Gunn, I think I made this analogy before, bro. But he got in the kitchen, bro. And bro, he grabbed the fucking sauces, bro. He grabs like some fucking salt, bro. He sprinkled it in there, bro. Popped open a fucking fortune cookie, bro. I told him that he was destined for greatness. And he cooked. My man cooked some straight heat, bro. This film is fucking phenomenal. Let us begin. No spoilers, of course. No spoilers. But like where the fuck do I start? All right, I know where to start. The plot. So a lot of like MCU. I'm not gonna spoil. No spoilers. A lot of MCU films recently are like the world's gonna end. We're all fucked. We gotta do this big fucking journey, right? And this film, the stakes aren't that the world's gonna end. It's a lot more personal. And I really like that a lot. And wait, just hold on. It's more personal, yet it still manages to grab that like grand level. It's a more personal story, but it's still at the same scale that some of the other movies have. And that is incredible. How it balances that and how it makes that happen is incredible. And on top of that, the characters in this film are fucking fire. They're all good. It is such a good film. All the characters are good. Rocket is fucking phenomenal. Star Lord, just all the Guardians. Nebula, like the ones that stand out to me the most is obviously Rocket. Nebula stands out a lot to me. And those two mainly, to be honest. I think they really stood out a lot here. Mantis also did a great job. Drax did. Groot was Groot. Um, of course, Peter did good. Chris Pratt, my Mario. They did a fucking great job. Honestly, they all did a great fucking job. It was a really good film. They had so many characters. They introduced Cosmo, like the dog from the comics, and that has like telepathy and stuff. It's in the trailers. And it was in a Guardian special as well. And they all did a good job. They all did a great job. All these characters were good. And they had so many characters too. James Gunn had a ton of characters in there. And bro, he's fucking juggling, bro, and it fucking worked, bro. Like he was tossing them up and shit. And he was keeping track of all of it, bro. It was fucking crazy. I just dropped the barbecue sauce. It was fucking insane. It was just good. And it really surprises me, like in modern day fucking Marvel, where we're at with Marvel right now, which is that we have a product like this coming out is fucking wild. Let me say a bit more focused. The music is fire. The soundtrack is great. I loved it. There were some moments where it had to be like a certain type of music, bro. They nailed it. A bit more chill, a bit more fun. They nailed it. The comedy, they nailed it, bro. The comedy is fucking fire. I laughed, bro. I laughed out loud during the film. It was crazy. I like the only bits of comedy that I've laughed out loud in Marvel. Maybe it's like once or twice per film. Like it really has not been that much. I have not laughed this much in a Marvel film. Like it's not even close. I laughed so fucking much. It was such a fun film. It really was such a fun film. It told its story. It's very heartfelt. The performances were so good, and it just felt good. It was just a good story, and it did so much. I think this is like the part that a lot of people are gonna come out with is that it was a big film. This is a massive film, yet it's so personal. And I think that part right there is the part that I really latched onto with it. Is that it did so fucking much during its runtime and it nailed it all the way through. I don't think I was afraid that during the third act the film would like lose its thing a bit because it was doing so much. But it did it. It did it so well. It wrapped everything up. It was all like tied together. The writing was good. The chemistry was fucking fantastic. It was so fucking good. It's a good film. This was a good Marvel film, and I'm hyped to say that because I enjoy Marvel. Okay, I know that I've been shitting on Marvel for like the past 2 years, outside of like a few like films like Shang-Chi and Spider-Man. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. In my opinion, this is like above those by a lot, in my opinion. I love Shang-Chi, just to be clear. Like Spider-Man, like being a a word I'm using. I do have my problems with the film, but this film, I can't think of any major flaws. There are a few minor flaws which I'll touch on like in a bit, but it was just phenomenal, and it's so much better than what Marvel had put out recently. Like I liked Moon Knight. I think that towards the end it kind of lost it a bit. I liked WandaVision, but this doesn't even feel close. This feels so much better. Maybe it's like the recency of it. Maybe it's because Marvel's been like really, really mid to bad recently. But it was just good. It was just good. Um. So yeah, yeah. Let me talk about the one flaw I have with the film, and that's the how I felt about it a bit tonally. I think that it does a lot. Like the comedy, like I said, is good, and the emotional moments are also good. But the switching between the both of them is very jarring because it goes from like 0 to 100 to 0 to 100 with the comedy to the more serious stuff. And I it was all really well done those moments, but I wish there was a bit more of like maybe some space in between them. Maybe like a bit more like leaving from that moment to the next. Like those moments, like the emotional moments, like the ones that really matter, still had the time to set in. But I feel like sometimes they transition into a joke a bit too quickly. But it works. Mostly. It mostly works. Like it's a little jarring, but I got over it. I honestly it's a very small flaw I have with it. I don't think it ruins the film at all. I think that they still did a great job. James Gunn did a great job. And that's why I'm fucking hyped. I am hyped to say what I'm about to say, bro. It might be crazy, all right. It might be crazy. Maybe I'm going insane here, right? But I think I'm gonna give this film, like in terms of score, just a straight up 9 out of 10. Straight up. Maybe even I'm so tempted to say 10. You have no idea. I really am tempted to just say 10, and I just might honestly, just for the fuck of it, because oh god, it's so fucking good. It is so much better. It's a very long film. Just so you guys know, it is a long film. It's like 2 hours and like something minutes. I didn't look it up, but it's really fucking long. But it does so much during that runtime, and it all worked so well. And that's commendable, to be honest. That they did so much, kept me like invested the entire time. I'm gonna say fucking 10 out of 10, bro. It's a fucking great film. Honestly, it really is. Not perfect, not like perfect. Like I said, the one thing is like tonally. I feel like some of the serious moments and the joke moments, although they were both good, like really fucking good, they needed to be a bit more separation in between them, just a tad bit. But ignoring that, like just putting that aside, because it really was not that big a deal, to me at least, I still think this is a phenomenal film. It's super fun. It gives like that good Marvel film vibes, like back when Marvel was better. Oh, I miss those days. Um, and so I'm perfectly fine giving it like a 9, 10 out of 10. TBH. I'm in between both. Let's just say 9.5, just to say fuck it, 9.5. 95 out of 100, not 9.5 out of 10. I think that's a really fair place to put it. It is, in my opinion, the best thing that obviously we have in Phase 5. But also, like, from Phase 4, I think this is, like, the best. I think Shang-Chi and Spider-Man, I think Shang-Chi and Moon Knight are, like, second and third, you know what I mean? But this is just, it's a lot better. It's a great way to end the trilogy. It did a good job. It was very emotional, wrapped it up well. Characters all did their part. Everyone had like their own thing. No one got like left behind. Like you know how in these giant films they have like, oh, one character doesn't get as much time or whatever. This one, everyone had their moment, and that is so fucking commendable that they got to do all of that. It was so fucking good. Alright, real quick, I forgot to mention something, so this is gonna be future me talking about it now. The visuals of the film. The visuals are stunning, bro. Phenomenal. Like, just, they are fucking great. I love the visuals in this film. It looks so fucking good. It looks great. The effects work. They look good. I didn't have any, like, moments where I saw it, I was like, this looks a little bit bad. Unlike when I watched Quantumania, for example, or I watched Black Panther, I did have like those moments where I was like, this kind of looks a little bit goofy, or like with Thor. or I don't know if Multiverse of Madness I really had any issues with, but that I can remember at least. But definitely those three that I mentioned, I did have issues with. So to see this one just like looking really fucking good, was really nice. It was really nice. I didn't see any like major flaws, anything that looked bad. It was all good. That's good. It's good. And then the other thing to mention is the villain. Bro, slap. Bro was a good fucking villain. He was menacing. The performance was great. I need to learn the actor's name after this shit. By the way, I need to find him, because he's also in Peacemaker, and I know that he also did a good job there. But man, he did fucking good. He did good. He did great. Just like everything that the interactions in between him and the Guardians and all that was just great. Go watch this fucking film. All right, I'm gonna send you back to past me. This is future me talking, like filling in that blank that I forgot to mention the visuals and the villain himself. Cause I'm just too hyped, bro. But yeah, no, it's good. It's fucking good. It's good. And with that, that's all I gotta say about it for now. Thank you all for watching. I'm gonna be talking about spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the film yet, go watch it. Get the fuck out of here and go watch it. But for those of you who are still here because you are watching the spoiler section, let's talk about it. Yo, what's up? It's even more future me. As you can see, my lips are less dry now. I was actually editing and I realized they were. Anyway, this is the spoiler section. I had recorded like me talking about it, but I didn't kind of like it. I wanted to redo it and just go through the film again and just kind of talk about it. So I kind of want to, the way I broke it down before was like character by character, which I think might not be a bad way to do it. So I say we start with probably, I want to say Star Lord and Gamora first, because those two characters are very interesting. They're very like fascinating how they kind of like did their arc. With Star Lord, going from like at his lowest point at the start of the film, going through it, and then kind of like it seems like he's almost accepting it. It's like he's accepting that this is like his life now. You can't go back. You can't change things. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Type beat. And you kind of see that arc. I like the arc that he went through, and it was very funny. Chris Pratt's performance as Star Lord was great, especially at the part where Rocket was, like coming back to life. It was all good. It was all really good performance. And I think that same thing with Gamora. Great. She was just kind of there, doing her thing, fucking killing people, and I like where she's at. It's interesting that she became like one of the Ravagers and stuff, and so you have like those two interacting together, and kind of how like Peter has what's basically his love life, or was a part of his love life, just there, but also not really there because she's like not the same memories. It's all very interesting. It's an interesting thing to do and to see that interaction between two people. And I thought it was done well. It really hits. This movie had a lot of emotional hit moments, and that one kind of hit. It was sad, especially towards the end when they part ways. But I'm glad that they kind of like formed this friendship together. I don't know if that goes into them being like more than that later on or not. I'm not sure, but at least for sure, like they have this friendship now, which is good. I like that a lot. If it stayed as is, like them just being like friends, that's perfectly fine. But I still think Star Lord kind of deserves, something, bro. Like something after that. She should. I mean, Mario deserves it. Have you guys seen my Mario cutout? You guys might not know I have this. This might be the first time I show it off on the YouTube channel. But I have a cardboard cutout of Chris Pratt in my room. Hold on. And you guys see that? Yeah. I also have the green screen on for Nvidia, so it's kind of like fades away a bit. I know, but I think you get the idea. It's life size. It's like the actual size of him. He's the hand you see here. I don't know if you see it like flickering in and out every now and then. Move off to the side. I'm afraid one day he'll break. I don't know what I'd do if that happened. Anyway, what was I saying? Um, Gamora. I like the both of them how they interact together. and I hope that Mario has a happy ending someday. He finds someone to settle down with. It'd be cool. Next, I want to talk about another duo of characters being Mantis and Drax. Um, these two, they're the dumbasses. They're like just like the comedy, the comedic reliefs of the group. They're little guys. And they both got their moments to really shine on their own. Obviously Mantis, like being like, having like a lot of knowledge, seemingly like at least emotionally kind of intelligent type beat kind of esque. And you get a lot of like her like really stepping up, I guess, to like the spotlight to be a bit more prominent in the film and having like a more important role. Um like in the actual group as well and in the team. And same thing with Drax as well. I felt like their thing was more important. They were always like very funny characters, like they were very present, you know what I mean? They were they were always there, but I feel like in this film they definitely had the most to do. And it was nice. It was nice to see Drax have his moment as a father and to like really show his strengths. And same thing with Mantis. They had very cool moments and very wholesome moments, moments that made me tear up, especially the one with Drax. And I feel like their duo together worked really well in the holiday special. I really liked it. I thought it was funny. I think in Guardians 2 I also liked it. And so here I liked it even more. I thought it's nice. It's nice to see them. I hope that in the future we get more of them together. I think it'd be really cool. I know that how they ended it off, Matt, like, Drax is just in tears, crying and shit. And I hope they get to meet again. I think that even if like they really like they value each other a lot, So it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see them together again. Same thing with all the Guardians. I talked about it the first time I recorded this spoiler section, but I feel very weird about a potential sequel because a part of me wants them to come back together again because I love these characters and they did such a good job in this film. I'd like to see more of them. And the way that the MCU is like set up, obviously, they will come back. It's not like a if they will, but when they will. But another part of me also thinks this is a good ending. All the characters go their own way. It's all fine. It's all good for them. So I don't know. I don't know where they'd go with the Guardians 4 potentially if they have one. And like I said, I'm torn in between if I even want one really. Like I don't know. It was a good ending. It wrapped up really well. I liked where all the characters kind of ended up. I still feel they have their own stories to tell with them potentially if they wanted to. But it's also a good point just to be like, all right, that's it. We're done. But we'll see. Obviously, it's the MCU. We'll see what they do. A lot of mixed quality stuff, of course, from Marvel. So, we'll see what happens. What else is there to talk about? I guess another character we could talk. Oh, also, I guess I never mentioned Mantis, but Mantis having like the three like creatures, just kind of like vibing with her. I forgot what they were called. I'm sorry. But that shit was sick. Because I'm pretty sure that was the same one from the second Guardians film. They were fighting like one of them, all three of them together. So seeing those be the things that come back, I think this was the one that they were fighting in the second film at the start. So seeing those things come back was really cool. I thought that was fucking awesome. Sorry, I forgot I was recording and just started drinking Sprite. I do that when I'm like on stream. I'll just start drinking shit. I forgot. Wait, I'm in a recording session. Anyway, what's it called? Yeah, those two were good. Let me go over to Nebula, I guess. Let me talk about Nebula. She was awesome. She was fucking awesome. I like Nebula a lot in the film. She was very cool throughout, very badass, had her part like a real leader too. She really like stepped up, she like kept the group together. And the group dynamic throughout the film is really fucking good. All those characters really synergize together really well. Their acting, the charisma, just their chemistry, it all works really well in the film. Like obviously I talked about the Mantis and Drax duel, but also like the Star Lord, Gamora, Nebula duo trio. Even with the characters they threw in there, like Adam Warlock or even Cosmo, like the dog and shit, and Yondu number two. Honestly, I forgot his name. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. It's not the film. I have bad memory. I think you might learn this about me. I have really bad memory when it comes to names. I remember characters and what they do very well. Like I know everything he did in that film, but I cannot for the life of me remember his name. Anyway, he was cool. He was cool. Just like not to discredit, did a good job. He had a very powerful moment at the end of the film too, with when he was like using like the arrow and shit. And I thought that was awesome. That shit was badass. And I hope we get to see more of him. And I guessing we probably will. That's what's so weird about the MCU, right? It's like this ending to this film I thought was so good. A part of me doesn't want to see it get ruined by everything else in the MCU because I feel like this isn't going to be the norm when it comes to quality in the MCU. This is like the exception. I hope it's not, but I get the feeling it will be, and that's yeah, yeah. But all the characters they just synergize together really well. It's all good. The jokes are all good. They all land, and I think it comes a lot to like the actual actors like being just really fucking good together. And James Gunn, obviously directing it really well. The writing was good as well, of course. But yeah, no, that shit was good. So yeah, back to Nebula at least. She had a lot of emotional moments and a lot of things that like really hit. And the actress did a fucking phenomenal job, like absolutely phenomenal with everything. And had important roles. She was super badass. It was awesome. It was cool to see. And especially towards the end of the film, like having their fights, the way like she reacts to how Rocket was. I think all the Guardians in general, like caring about Rocket so much, really fucking hit, and it was really well done. It was very believable, very just yeah. I feel like it's something that's very easy to get like goofy wise and to mess up, but they did it well. Um, I mean goofy wise because it is just a raccoon. It's not exactly real. So, but no, but they did it really well. They're great actors. Um, I guess Groot. Let me talk about Groot. Groot was I wish we got a bit more. I think it wasn't like bad by any means, not at all. But I wish we got more emotional moments from Groot. I feel like it wasn't as considering like Groot is like this is like kind of like his father-esque figure being Rocket. Um, I wish we had seen like a bit more of like his reaction to it. I feel like Groot was surprisingly tame. I think towards the beginning he did have like a reaction, of course. But beyond that, I didn't see as much, and I kind of wish we did get a bit more of that. That could have been cool. But I mean, it was fine though. Groot wasn't like bad necessarily. I feel like he was just like compared to the other characters, he was given a bit more off to the side, but still there, still present, which is fine. He didn't need a character arc. He didn't need anything big. Like he was fine during the film. Everyone else had their own major parts, and I feel like where Groot is at right now is fine. What else is there? Oh, the fucking like the character that the film is like around and shit. Rocket. Rocket is fucking great. Like, is it Bradley Cooper? I forgot who. Boy, I think it's I think it's him. Did a fucking phenomenal job with that role. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about the name. It's gonna be embarrassing if I am. But did an absolutely phenomenal job. The performance fucking hit. And just Rocket's story in general, because this is very much Rocket's story. I mean, they even say it during the film, I guess. But this is like Rocket's tale basically, and the Guardians are just there like supporting him. It's about Rocket's family, Rocket's place within like this world and shit, and how he feels and his own internal stuff, his failures in the past and what he couldn't do, where he comes from and all that. Like we get the Rocket origin, and it was really well done. It was very emotional. And once again, it's one of those things where it's also very tragic. It's very sad. You see these animals that have been like just like fucking turned into like these like the fucking walrus has a wheelchair. the robot arms with the fucking with the weasel, Layla, you know, with teeth. I know the names. Um, and it was just sad, and then with Flora as well, and the way that their names are came up with as well. It's just sad. It's tragic. You know what I mean? But it's also very wholesome. It's a lot of emotions in those moments, and they did it really well because I feel like it could be so easily done like in a goofy, almost cringe way, but it wasn't. It took itself seriously when it had to be taken seriously there, and it was just tragic. It was really sad to see, like these group of four friends just going through this horrible process with this like villain and shit that they have in the film, and it was emotional. It honestly was. It really was. It was like hard to watch sometimes too because it's like damn. And then like during the parts as well, it's also very like gruesome during the film. This is something that happens a lot of times during the film, but like when we see the evolutionary's like face like without the mask on, you know, he did like a dream face reveal type shit. Shit was like whoa. You know, like whoa, we're seeing that. That's like whoa. Same thing with the actual monsters too and the animals. Like they look very gruesome, and even Rocket's friends as well. Like they look like it's gruesome. It's sad. It's tragic, and it's done well. It honestly is. Like those four characters, it's a very emotional story. It's very tragic, and it was well told. I feel. The only issue I had with them was that I feel like from those scenes going back to the Guardians of the present day, it was a bit too much of a tonal shift. I mentioned the tone during the non-spoiler section about how I kind of felt like the tone like shifted too much. That was really it for me when it goes from those very heavy hitting scenes back to the Guardians, and both of those moments to get like separately are perfectly fine, but transitioning in between them, it just felt like too much sometimes. It was a little too abrupt, especially like during the rocket scenes going to something a bit more lighthearted like that. It was a little bit too jarring. I kind of wish there was a way that they could transition it a bit less like that, you know? But that was just me at least. That's how I felt about it. It didn't ruin the film for me at all by by any means, but it did kind of like made me think, oh, I wish I could have done this like just a tad bit better. It wasn't bad, but I would have liked if it was a bit better. Um, but yeah, it was very sad, very well told, very emotional. The consequences that the high evolutionary has, and then how when like Layla is killed, just like Rocket goes off, bro. Like something inside of him just snapped, bro, and it was wild to see. It's a very like damn type scene and very shocking to see in a Marvel film most of all. And with these characters that look kind of like just like you know just animals and shit, it's very well done. And the fact that they struck this balance of it being like serious enough where like the audience doesn't like lose their belief in it or whatever is it's just good. It was done well, and that's commendable. Uh, that's that's that entire part, that heavy hitting part, and I like the way that it ends with Rocket as well, with his fight with the high evolutionary. How like once he's back up, he decides he's done running. He's not going to be hiding away from his like you know from his past and shit. Like now his new friends know about it. And it was just I liked the part a lot when they were all going to be leaving the ship. Rocket says, I'm done running. He turns around and starts walking towards it. How the rest of the Guardians were not a word spoken in between them. Nothing said, bro. They see him turn after he says, I'm done running. And they all turn, bro. All of them just turn and they go with him, bro. That's some homie shit right there. Those are homies right there. And that shit hit. That shit was good. I liked it. I like that a lot. I like that the emotion that's there, and it really It really hit. It was a good scene. I think that was a really good scene. It was like one of my favorite scene. All of them fight down that hallway, and also the High Evolutionary, the way that his own people turned on him as well. That show was good. That whole entire third act, I was really afraid that it'd be too much, and that the film would not be able to handle that, and maybe even become like lose it on the third act. And that's what like by the second act, knowing how good it was at that point and how much they had set up, I was like very concerned that the third act might not be as good or be able to keep up with like what had just been set up. Like I thought it might have been a letdown. It was not, and I was really happy that they like nailed it, and it was really good. Everything that the characters did all made sense. All the stuff that happened towards that finale, and obviously throughout the film, it all made sense. It was all in character. Um, and yeah, yeah, no shit, yeah. A lot of the side characters too that they introduced in the film, they did a lot of like side characters, like the people, um, in the and basically like the giant asshole that they visited in space, the living mass. I forgot what that place is called. Once again, memory being phenomenal. But a lot of the characters they met there, like was it Utah? Or her name was the U, right? Like her, the person that called like his homie special or whatever, the carrot guy. A lot of like unique characters that just kind of appear, and their stay isn't over welcomed. But you also like just have them long enough where it's like I like these characters. I like them. Like they did a good job giving them a setup and feeling like the world is more alive. There's a lot going on. And that's the thing about this film. I don't know if I mentioned it in the non-spoiler section, but about how it's a very personal film to the Guardians. Like this is Rocket's the person who made Rocket who he is, but is also a genuinely awful person, and that journey to save Rocket. It's a very personal story to the Guardians, yet it feels so large in scope and scale, and I feel the movie does like it benefits from that a lot. That this is the villain they went with, that this is the story they decided to tell, and it was good. It's a good way to wrap up the Guardians, and I hope we get to see them again in a good project. But I also kind of hope that we just kind of end the MCU already, because I don't want to see them ruin things. Yeah, and I'm afraid they will. But that's like another thing altogether. That's another point. Another like story to tell. It was all good. Have I talked about the High Evolutionary? Him, he is fucking goated. Phenomenal villain. I think he's one of my favorite in these two phases so far. I like him a lot. I like the villain in Moon Knight. I like this guy more. I like the villain in I like Namor and like Black Panther, but I like this guy more. Same thing with even with Gore. I think if Gore had had more time, maybe would have liked him a bit more. But I like this guy more. I think he's the best villain in recent Marvel. Maybe since Thanos, I'm not really sure. I feel like my mind is like maybe forgetting things as well, so I'm not gonna like say like 100% confidence, but he's 100% a really good villain and one of the best that the MCU has introduced and added in. And definitely a really good way to end it off was with him just fucking dying. His powers were cool. He was very sick. He was very menacing. And you also like kind of like under not like a sympathetic villain, but more of like you see why he does the things he does, what his purpose is. It kind of makes sense. He's just a fucking crazy motherfucker. Not like a sympathetic villain, just to be clear. You don't like understand necessarily why he does it, but you get why he does it. If that makes sense. If that does that make sense? I don't know. I'm not just talking. But yeah, that was like the main stuff with the characters there. The settings are also really good. The locations they travel to are all so creative. They all look very nice. They're all visually appealing. Like the giant space asshole, the biomass thing, Counter Earth, Nowhere itself, like the planet they all live on. Uh, the those are the main locations, right? Am I forgetting one? I feel like I'm forgetting one main location. Yeah, those entire places, like those are good locations. They did a good job there. It was all well done. Oh, and the Sovereign's planet. I guess we do go there for like whenever the Sovereign is talking to him, and we like see these places, and it's all well done. These are really good creative settings. They look nice. They all have like their own environment to work with as well. Have their own characters in there. Yeah, yeah. And oh, speaking of characters in there, the ones on Counter Earth and on the high evolutionary ships, I think was done well. The thing, this film did so much. I'm like saying it now out loud. It did so much, and it's incredible how well it was all done. It truly is incredible how well done this film is. It's very, very commendable that James Gunn was able to do all this. It truly is, and it gives me a lot of hope for the DCEU high key. That hopefully that one's not bad. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna hold them crossed for a while. Do not like the Blue Beetle trailer at all. Just very generic. Anyway, sorry. Back to this. Um, it's exciting. It's exciting. It gets me a bit more hyped for the MCU, hoping that maybe like future projects will be good. But also, I'm a bit of a realist. I know that might not be. I'm looking forward to the Marvels though. I really am. I think that the trailer for the Marvels that was played before this one looks very interesting. I'm kind of hyped to see that, so I'll definitely be reviewing that one as well once the time comes. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like a little bit more hype in Marvel right now after their like fucking last couple of films that were just shitters. But yeah, I think the main thing, the main takeaway from this is that it's a more personal story. It's just the Guardians. It doesn't feel like it connects to the bigger universe altogether. It doesn't. It does its own story, and that's like the main part I think to me that really like gives it so much power. It's not trying to like further the franchise. It's just trying to wrap up its story. It's trying to tell a story first and then worry about everything else, you know? And that's what like media should be, high key. It should be story is the main priority and then everything else. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good one, and I'll see you on the next review or video or thing. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Hit that subscribe button, and you'll find out eventually when I probably find out too. Cause yeah. Peace out.